listening to the Local Earshot Podcast with your host, Jonathan Grissom. Let's talk about music.
Hello, everybody. This is the Local Earshot Podcast, and I am here with Moonkill. And what all band members are we here with today?
I'm Dan. I'm the singer guitarist.
I'm Mario. Play guitar.
Fred. I'm the drummer.
I'm Chris. I'm the fill-in touring bass player.
All right.
He's the FNG.
Yeah, he is.
You're the hired gun?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Secret weapon.
Okay. Kind of tell us the story about how your band got started and kind of how long you guys have been together, where you guys are from, all that kind of stuff. Because I know you guys are on tour right now, so you're not from Oklahoma. So.
No, we're from Austin, Texas.
Yeah.
So we're doing a 10-day tour right now, coming through Oklahoma. But as a band, we're 4 years old.
Okay.
And we were just telling the story the other day. We started, we kind of, I don't know, Mario's probably, you have a good way of telling the story, how we all met. We connected Fred and how we all became a band at Kong.
Yeah. So I've known Fred, our drummer here, for a long time now. At least 14, 15 years or something. And I had always, I was aware that he was a drummer. And he's not one to brag, but I could just tell from some of the stories he would tell about playing in LA, the caliber of bands he was playing with and how seriously he took it, that he was pretty good. And I had been wanting to jam. I had been in a band years ago, a little mariachi punk rock band that wasn't anything too serious, but it was a lot of fun. And I wanted to have some of that fun again, and just play with some friends, and that's all it was supposed to be. It was just a jam session, and we'd been talking about it for years. And then finally, one day I was like, all right, that's it, we're doing it. We're gonna have a jam session. Do you know anyone? And like, let's rustle up some friends and make some noise. And Fred knew Danny, who's usually here playing with us, who is unable to through some real world commitments. But anyway, Danny was living in his in an Airstream in his front yard, and he plays guitar, so he was down with it. And then I had met Dan was kind of new to the scene, but he's dating a friend of ours, and we got word that he could play guitar. And anyway, like I said, it was just supposed to be a jam session, but we all showed up. Everyone brought something to the table, and before we even hit the first notes, we're all kind of sniffing each other's butts, trying to figure out, like, well, what are your influences? What are you down with? Whatever. And all the names that we were throwing out, which would certainly be heard today. Anyway, people kind of hear some of those influences today, which is kind of cool. But so we were all on the same seat of music before we even hit the first notes in that regard. And, I had written some stuff, Dan had written some stuff. Everyone brought something to the table, and right away, that first session, we were like, man, that sounded really good. And I hadn't jammed with anyone in years, so it was like really a thrill to not only be making music with friends, but to we all thought, man, this is actually really good. We're onto something. This might not just be a jam session. So anyway, we recorded some demos and took it to Fred here. It's got all the connections. He's sort of the brains of the band, and he took us to King Electric, where Rocky Moon, who would become our producer, listened to it. We played him our stuff, and we were all sitting abreast on the sofa in this really impressive and quite legit recording studio. There's a Grammy sitting there, looking at us, and Rocky was just listening to our music, blasting the music, but facing away from us. And I was trying to peer over his shoulder, kind of, read anything at all, and he was just motionless, just nothing. He just listened to it, and I was thinking, he's probably not really digging it. But as soon as that first demo was over, he spun his chair around and he was just like, yes, this is it. Like, he was just so, enthusiastic about it. And that was kind of makes my skin stand up a little bit. It was like a real rush that, like, oh man, this guy likes it. We're not just, this is.
It's not just playing to a crowd.
Right. He was, because he's very honest. I knew that from the outgo. That he wasn't just gonna blow smoke, and he was really into it. So anyway, that's where we were like, yeah, let's keep rolling with this. Let's make some more music. And then everyone's been writing music. Even Fred, he can't even play guitar, but he can hum some catchy stuff. So like everyone's got. Some big contributions, not just for their instrument, but for the actual writing process.
Well,
and
that's good.
Yeah.
Because a lot of bands usually you have your one writer.
Yeah.
And you have it's just instrumentals, and then you have like your person that does all that side of it.
Yeah.
I do notice that like because you're the drummer, so like you tend to. You said you're the brains of the operation, which tends to happen with drummers. Like having to do all the socials and all the other work. Is that what you do? Do you do all the back?
Well, Dan does all the social media posting because
Okay.
he likes doing the editing and stuff, and he has a knack for that. Mario does all the art, and then anything that's like management business side, I do. I have a theory on why it usually becomes a drummer. I have a couple theories on it.
I've never heard this. What is it?
So there are two of them. One of the theories is that a drummer has to have a band. We're useless without. Like, everybody else can go play by themselves. Like, you can go like play guitar in a coffee shop. You can start another band. You can write a new song. You can get a new band. But a drummer without a band is like, we can't do anything. I can't just like post up in a coffee shop and start playing drums. Like,
Yeah.
nobody wants to hear that shit. So
Long drum solo.
you got to keep the band together, and you got to keep it going. The other thing, one of my friends pointed out, is she said she met a drummer recently, or she met a musician. This guy said, "Hey, I'm a musician." She goes, "Let me guess, you're a drummer." And he goes, he said, "Why would you think that?" And she said, "You just kind of seem like the kind of person that needs to be in control and doesn't need the limelight." And I was like, "Oh shit, that's like," and I was like, "Yeah, that's probably like drummer personality." But and that's also kind of like musically where you are. Is like you're not, we're not getting like recognized out front for it, but you just have to hold it together. And I was saying this after the show. Like I had a Rusty show on our first tour stop, and we had like a shaky stage, literally a shaky stage. There's shit moving all over the place. It's such a bizarre setup, but it was fun, and I was fumbling around and stuff, and I'm like, man, no, if you're a drummer, nobody notices if you do it right, but if you fuck up, everybody notices. So that's kind of like where you are as a, in the mix, so to speak. And so I think that kind of lends personality-wise maybe to like the business end of just like keeping everything tight in the back. But yeah, and also we kind of all just fell into like what we're good at. I've got like an entrepreneurial business background. Mario's got an art background. Dan's got a like kind of media production, voiceover background. So like you just kind of fall into what you're good at, and then you realize when your other bandmates are like, oh, they're taking the lead on that. You just let them, let them rip.
Yeah.
And that way you can go do the other stuff, and there's some push pull there at first, and then you kind of like, partition it out.
Yeah. You let me see. So like you being a singer, right? I was listening to like a lot of different kind of bands, I guess, that I've listened to that have that sound. I don't know if you're like going for a certain sound, or if it's like what are your inspirations and like things that kind of cause you to want to like sing that way, write that way, things like that. Like some of the bands, I guess, that you listen to that.
Yeah. Well, vocally, like Mario was saying, when we got together, we didn't have an understanding of what sound we're going for. We wanted to do something heavy, energetic. And at that time, I was just coming out of like pretty much a decade of doing singer-songwriter stuff. So I was doing a lot of like softer songwriting, arrangements, and my voice was not really projecting as much. But with this vocal sound for Moonkill, I think I always just had this kind of knack for like that range of like the Jim Morrison vocals or the Glenn Danzig kind of vocals. And for whatever reason, it wasn't really intentional. Our first song that we wrote was very much in that vein. It's called Long Line. And actually that song we wrote pretty much our first or second practice. That's one of our first songs that's on our first album. So yeah, I mean, it wasn't so intentional. I just, for years, I had this kind of knack to have like this lower kind of like, or like Elvis or something. I just, and it feels comfortable. It doesn't feel like that's a voice that I have to strain so much. And I can still have these pockets where I can yell a little louder and then come back to this kind of, it feels a lot softer than the yelling that does exist in a lot of punk, hardcore, metal. Yeah. So for me, it was kind of like a conscious, like, it was an accident, but then when we continued to write more and more songs, that became the voice. It was also a way of for me to like protect my voice and like have it last for years with this kind of sound.
Have you ever studied the one lady that does that for bands, like the big bands? I forget her
vocal
name,
training?
Yeah, like she does the vocal training with like Korn and all these big bands.
The one lady? No, I've seen a guy or something. But
she goes, like they go to, there's a documentary on her, but like I forget her name, but like they go to her house, I guess, and like she teaches them how to do what you're saying, like protect your voice, bring your vocal cords back a little bit, so then you're not like just there, or you hire the mic instead of lowering the mic, and so then you're not projectively yelling. Like Linkin Park, like Chester Bennington, he never sang as loud as everybody thought he did. Like he had all his settings in such a way that his voice would carry, but he wasn't actually singing that loud. And it was because he was protecting his voice. He was protecting his throat.
Everyone, like all vocalists, have to like come to the crossroads. When you're young, you're pushing your voice, and if you want to continue doing it for years, you got to do it the right way and like a healthy way, so you can continue to do it. Because a lot of people damage their voice. Or when we were in the studio recently, that's when I give my voice like 100%, 150%. And usually after like a couple of days of vocal recordings, my voice will be tired, or like AKA kind of like injured in a way, and I got to recover. So I try to avoid that, and I don't have much training in that department, but I have like an understanding that just like took me years of just singing, figuring out what works, what doesn't.
Yeah, we actually thought about that during tour routing. Where like we got to protect Dan's voice and my arms because it's like pretty intense. It's pretty intense. It's pretty intense music, and we have a fairly long set. We're headlining a lot of these things. There's like 45 minutes of straight music, and so we're like, okay, how could we do it? We're doing this tour, 12 stops, no breaks, and so we're like, okay, how can we like put together a set that's manageable and repeatable, and not blow out body parts doing it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, tours are no joke. Like I have friends that done tour management. I've worked a few of those things where you like travel with them and stuff. And, I mean, it's hard enough on the roadie side and like doing all the stage stuff than it is to like even be the bands. I know it's hard, like traveling all like that. What are you guys traveling in right now?
We got a pretty good vehicle.
Yeah.
We got a Sprinter. We can stand up tall and straight in that thing. And
It's a Benz.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that's
Say that.
Yeah.
We each have our own row for sleeping. It's
Oh, that's
nice.
good. That's good. Yeah, because
Space.
you know I always hear some of these like punk and metal bands and stuff that play these venues and stuff. And they're all like, "Yeah, we're traveling in a minivan, like, you know, trying to pack everything in." So when you guys are inside the studio, do you guys start off with your instrumentals? Do you guys kind of jam and then figure out where the song's going to go, or do you guys just like put it all together? Like, how's your process go?
Usually someone presents a riff, and Mario, me, and then we'll just figure out how to tie it together. Like we'll have a verse, chorus, like, and then figure out what's the rhythm section doing. From there on, it's pretty much, that's like the biggest chunk of like work that we need to get through to get to the song. And then like we just add little elements on top of that, like spacey leads with some ambient kind of layers. But yeah, it's pretty much just like the guitar and the drums. If we just lock in with each other and understand what's going on in a song, that's mostly how we write our songs. Just like what's the rhythm, and yeah.
Well, this last album, how we recorded it was super cool. We tracked it all to tape, and so all the drums were recorded to tape. We recorded everything live first, played together, and we still like divided up all the tracks, and we wanted this big boomy drum sound because we got a pretty good drum sound on the first album, but we wanted another shot at it, and the same producer invited us back, and so we tracked it 2-inch tape. And everybody plays live, and then if it was good, like if the guitar was good, we kept that, and if not, we went back and we recorded guitar on top of that. And so that way, like the drums that we're getting is actually the feel of me playing with the guys, and then you can kind of build on that. And so yeah, we'll write the songs like Dan's saying, and then when we go into the studio, we want to be able to like jam it whole. We want to play it. Everything.
Right, because you're going to want to be able to fully play it live whenever you get there.
Totally.
That's the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. We like writing stuff that we can, definitely replicate live, like as closely to the album as possible. And that's, this new album's a little more complex, so that's been, it's definitely a challenge. We're going to work on it.
Well, and you're working, is he a independent producer, or is he like a studio? Like, are you working with like a recording studio? Are you guys on like a label, or is it he's independent? We're independent. Rocky Moon as a producer is independent. He works with everybody. His band American Sharks is on a label, but yeah, he's at a spot where he works with who he wants, which is kind of nice. And so we became friends with him, working with him for a while, and it's nice that he invited us back because we're like, okay, cool, like he digs the music, which is important for us. We wouldn't want to just hire somebody that's just like not into that style. Right. Yeah, I feel that too, because I was whenever I was thinking about how I would design like what I'm doing. I mean, it's hard. It's many years of work, but is that the fact that like if I had like an artist management firm and I hired managers that manage bands, I want that rapper manager to be with that rapper band, that rapper artist, instead of like, you putting just this random manager with a punk band. They don't even like punk or rock, whatever it is, because like you're gonna end up with a better product just because they enjoy being there and they enjoy doing it. But if you take somebody that has nothing to do with that industry or even that music type and they go into it, they're just like they don't want to be there. They hate it, and they hate every show, and they and then they treat them like crap. And you learn a lot of stories like that in the music industry about like how these managers, some of them are just they were in it for the money, and they were in it for taking advantage of people, and it just was not okay. And so like I try to gear toward avoiding all of that, that. So
Chris and I talked about this a lot because Chris has been on the road a lot, which is why we brought him in on this tour. And so when you're on the road a lot, you end up going to a bunch of these venues, and some of the venues are like, this is a punk venue, this is a hard rock venue, this has a built-in crowd, the promoter likes this style of music. And so you kind of know what you're getting because you have, like you're saying, you get a manager that's into rap, they're going to book you at a place where the venue likes that kind of music, the fans like that kind of music, and they know that network and they know that community, versus somebody like you're saying that's not into that style that they're managing, or the promoter. If they put you on a bill with somebody that's totally different, and you're like traveling around the country to these places, and we have no idea where we're going, if it's a venue we've never played or a town we've never played, and they put you on a bill with somebody that's totally different, and that crowd is mad about that, you can't undo that.
No, all you can do is just walk off stage.
So working with like-minded people is huge.
Yeah, it's what do you call it? I don't know. Like the venue world is a little different too. Like, so do you have a booking agent, or do you guys have like a manager? Like, how do you guys do that part?
We all self-manage. We self-manage the band, and I do most of the business end of that. And then I'll do. We worked with a booking agent. Sean at Happy Nomad helped us. He's out of North Carolina. He helped us kind of fill in some gaps. So we had we had people like here in OKC. We had, we knew Destiny over at Grand Royale.
Yep.
We played there before. A couple other spots we played before. Chris is from Fort Collins, so he hooked us up with the Colorado shows and worked with lineups there. So that way our lineup like kind of matches us up there. Dan, what you?
Tucson?
Oh yeah, Tucson.
Yeah. Have a buddy in Tucson who we're playing with, and he also is a promoter. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And then the booker we're using isn't like a big booking agent. He kind of just helps bands because he likes doing it to fill in gaps, and he's done it long enough that he can reach out and be like, hey, I can help fill in these 2 towns so that the routing makes sense. So you're not stuck in between like northern Colorado and southern New Mexico without any gigs.
So on this current tour, how many places have you guys played so far? Like on this one, did you guys just get started on this one?
Yeah.
Tonight's our third night.
Third night?
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess, I don't know, because I mean, usually whenever somebody's been on tour a long time, you ask them like, what places did you like playing? Like what shows went really well and which ones didn't really go so well? But I guess previous tours, like whenever you guys were doing it, like kind of that question, like what places do you like playing and menus, that kind of information.
I'd put OKC on that list. We had great response, and we met some great people in this city.
Yeah. Love playing here.
This is our third time back here, so that's not a coincidence. OKC, what else?
And I'll play a field if there's a crowd. I love it. If people are stoked, for us to be there, then that's awesome. Last night we played a house show in Denton, and I grew up going to house shows in Denton, and I'm from that area, North Texas, and it was,
It's a fun show.
dude, pouring rain. We backed the van up into the driveway. It takes up the whole driveway. There's a few kids there. It's a 1-car garage that they've outfitted into a venue.
Nice.
And it's just sick. It's just and there are only a few people, and it's super fun.
Yeah, it's grime and grit, and you could smell like a lot of bands had come through there.
Yeah.
A lot of moshing going on.
Yeah, we used to. I don't normally tell stories about whenever I used to do all that stuff, but back whenever I was a teenager, long time ago, there's this place called Forest Park. It's right outside of Oklahoma City, and there was a house there, and we used to throw house parties there like every single weekend, like 16, 17 years old, getting drunk, like all that kind of stuff. And he had a barn, and we threw a barn show. And it was like, I was in this band called Thorny Gamey. It was a punk band. And then there was this band called Kismatic, and they were more like a Tool like type sound. And anyways, like we were in this garage or in this barn, and everybody's just rocking out. It's real packed, just slammed together. There's cars all up in the driveway, like going down this driveway. Forest Park has a really, really strict police department, and they had a sound violation call, and they showed up. And the moment they showed, you see like, 150 teenagers just running out of this barn and like jumping in their cars, and everybody's just sitting there shooting by these cops and flying in every which direction of these cars, and everybody's just getting out of there real quick and stuff. But like house parties, they're like for house shows, that's probably one of the funnest stuff to do. Honestly.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's a blast to do that stuff. So, but yeah, I don't know. I didn't really stay in that like there. I realized that I was not in that way. Like I realized that I was better at the backside of it,
Yeah.
Not like, because I had friends that were like, oh yeah, John can play guitar, and I'm like, shut up, shut up, I cannot. Like I'm not playing nothing because I can't, I'm like not that great. I'm like doing like 3 chords and like it's very simple music. Like I definitely cannot play like my friends can play, so I'm not gonna claim that.
That's kind of along the house show vibes, like all ages shows. We don't get to play a lot of all ages shows. There used to be a bunch of all ages venues in North Texas and in Austin, and there's not as much. And that's one of the complaints for the music scene in Austin is we need more all ages venues.
Yeah.
But it's cool because when kids go to shows, under 18, or even under 21, they're there because they want to hear music.
Yes.
They're stoked. and that makes it so much fun to play. And sometimes we play a bar, and if adults are just sitting there drinking, they're just sometimes they're super stoked, but sometimes they're just like, cool music in the background. Yeah. But so basically with like the venues we end up loving are the ones where the people are just like, they're there for music and they're super stoked.
Yeah, I mean, there's a whole community around Grand Royale, so I mean, I definitely know that that's one of them, that people like to play, because people are there to actually, for the most part, usually there just to listen to music. I mean, you get those random people that are just walking by and all that kind of stuff out there, but
they've done such a great job of just like the momentum they've gotten with that place so quickly, of just like nonstop shows. They just and they've developed a reputation. We get the reason we got the show is I just stopped in OKC for lunch. I was traveling through Oklahoma, and I happened to be eating lunch across the street, and I just walked over there. I was like, that place looks cool. And I walked in and I was like, hey, where do bands play here or in this town? And they're like, right here.
You should ask Destiny her story or you can listen to the episode, but that's her story about how she ended up there. Because she literally was doing what you've said. Like, she was walking by, and she saw this new bar, and it had this theme, to it. And that's how she met Phil, because she walked in, and she was like, hey, I'm a producer. I book shows. Can I book shows here? And the guy was like, Phil was like, yeah, that sounds fun.
That's so sick.
And then all the way to now, that's what they've built. Like they have a whole life going on over there now. Like
they're great.
They're together. Like they got together over that. Like they've been, I think, in a relationship for a couple of years now, like because of it and all that stuff. Like all that stuff came from just randomly walking by a venue, and just seeing it and being like, oh, I want to do this,
Calls to you. The place calls to you. It's got to happen.
Yeah, and I mean, there's other venues here. Like there's an all age venue in Norman, but that's more of like a listening room. It's called Income. It's ran by my buddy.
Okay.
And the issue with that one is that like the reason why he's able to stay afloat is because he doesn't pay rent, because the building is being rented by a computer store that's right next door that he's friends with the guy, and he just happened to pick up that other room. And it has nothing to do with it. He uses it for storage in the back, like in the back storage room. It's just all his stuff. But like the actual room, he turned into like a little art gallery room and like in a room where they watch movies and stuff. And it's an all age venue. The problem is that that I've noticed, and it definitely was different back when I was a kid, because we would go to all age venues all the time. And a lot of venues would allow you to go in. You just wouldn't have a wristband or whatever. And then you'd be good. Now it's like, oh, you have to be 21 to go to these places because people break rules and people lie about wristbands and all this crap. But in that one, he doesn't serve alcohol at all. He doesn't even allow, like, if you want to drink, you have to go in the parking lot. And so nobody goes there. He literally, bands go there and play an empty room because like there's just a few kids in there that are there to listen to music, but like nobody will go there because they can't drink. Which I became sober in the last few years, so I don't, I can still go to a venue and still listen to music and enjoy it. I don't know why my friends, why they can't just go to a place just for that reason. But a lot of them, they do feel that they have to be drunk to enjoy it. And so I was like, whatever. So we're about 28 minutes in. Do you guys want to play a song?
Sure.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
All right. Which one are you gonna do? Let's do the danger. You gonna do part 1 and part 2, or
Probably just 2.
part 2?
Both.
Let's see if I can make sure.
We're doing both.
Well, if I do both, I start with 1, right? Because they're connected.
I said bye bye, listen, be there where I'm going out there on the chase. Every time I turn around, it's like I can't push it away. These bones have never been taken, these bones were never found. The world is never forsaken, what's left is on the ground. Who did it? is it? What is it? What is it? It never dies.
We are back. Okay, let me see. All right, let's talk about this tour, because that's normally what the second half is. We're going to talk about, what all cities do you guys have all lined up, and what all venues are you guys going to be playing at coming up? It's like I guess, I don't know how long your tour is. It's like months.
It's 10 days, so we're
12 now. We added.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
12.
Well, the big one we want everyone to know about would be tonight, right here in Oklahoma City, at the Grand Royale.
We're doing the episode right now.
Yeah, you're airing this. This is live, right?
No.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, you guys missed it.
We're gonna have to say
I honestly want to start doing live, but like it's hard because the nature of the show. But also it's because like what I've been trying to coordinate is schedules where it goes where like the band will go on the show, and then the next week or so the show would be happening, right?
Oh yeah.
So then it would be like there, but I don't know how. I guess I would have to do remotes with touring bands. And
Yeah.
it's
What
kinda hard to do.
would be cool is to call it. We're fresh into this tour. What, this is our third day, you said?
Yep.
And so hit us in like 10 days at the end, and we'll do a live spot and call in and ask us some questions then.
Yeah, I'll do a remote
Yeah.
follow-up of how the tour went.
From the
at
middle of
end.
the desert, yeah.
You'd be like, it's hot out here.
Yeah.
Well, after the show tonight, we're playing every single night on this trip. There are no breaks, no rest for the wicked. So we'll be shimmying up to Wichita, Kansas, then meandering on over to Colorado Springs and Fort Collins the night after that, then sliding on down to Albuquerque, and then we're tearing up Arizona via Tempe, Bisbee, and Tucson. Then we're back on our home Texas turf in El Paso, and then we're wrapping it up right back in Austin for our welcome home from the tour show.
So how many
And
shows is that? That's like total
12.
13?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, is it 13?
No, 6 and 6.
Okay. Yeah. They,
Plus the Austin.
And have you played any of the venues that you're going to be going to, or is this all new to you?
A lot of them are new because we haven't played. What's the name of that state? Kansas.
Yeah, we've been to
Kansas.
Kansas. We've been
Nowhere.
we've been asked.
Well, actually, Wichita's not the middle of nowhere, but majority of Kansas is the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
We've never done Colorado. We've never done Arizona, New Mexico. So those are going to be new. Yeah.
So those are all places where we've had fans asking us since we put out that first album. We're like, you got to come to these places, and so we finally.
Your wish.
Put this together. Yeah, we're getting to play some
command.
kind of legacy venues. One of the Wichita place, Kirby's. It's been around since the 70s apparently. So some promoter that I had a friend that promoted like 20 years ago. He's like, oh yeah, that's the spot. Stop in there.
Yeah.
It's like a beer store, and then we're playing Fort Collins. Surfside 7.
Surfside 7. It's like a local institution over there. It's been around for a while. It's kind of like the OG punk dive bar that has all kinds of touring acts come through.
I'm guessing a lot of CSU, like students there.
Maybe
Or,
not like that bar. That's kind of more of like
Okay.
the degenerate bar where like
Okay.
you know, there's
Real punk
there's
rock.
stickers, you know, all
Yeah,
over
yeah,
the
yeah.
walls, and it's like, you know, the punk spot. Everywhere else in town's kind of the CSU, but yeah, that's kind of the.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I went to see you, so I don't really know.
Oh, yeah.
How the, we
Boulder
were
Go
party.
Rams.
Yeah, we were party kids down there.
Gotcha.
Well, I was at CU Denver, so like we were deluxe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I was at the business school, but I did do some classes at Boulder. But I used to go to a lot of house parties in Boulder.
Oh,
Boulder's
yeah.
wild. Like if you guys stop in there, it's a pretty wild city. Like
Yucca Tap Room in Tempe that we're playing. That's like a pretty legit.
Oh,
venue,
yeah.
too. A lot of national touring bands go through there. It's kind of an institution over there. It's been there for a while. It's kind of like the spot to play in Tempe, just outside of Phoenix.
Okay. Yeah, that's awesome. I don't know. I've been to a lot of the venues in Colorado. I haven't been that much in it. I think when I went to Fort Collins, it was just to go up there during winter. So
Yeah,
there was really nothing going on up there
Yeah.
when I was there. But yeah. And then you guys will rotate back and come home. Do you guys have any plans in the future coming up soon for recording more or doing more stuff like that, or is it just going to be more focusing on the live?
Yeah, so
live
at this
scenes?
point, we just finished our second album, finished recording it. It's being mastered right now. And so, part of this tour is promoting that, you know. And anyone coming to our sets on this show is going to get to hear a lot of new material, which we're really happy to put out there, yeah.
Yeah, we'll be releasing. What did we decide? I think it's gonna be summer, probably June. Will be the first single come out off this new album, and then.
How do you guys release your stuff? Do you guys do your standard one song at a time? Or do you?
You know, we got man.
The first album we put out, we didn't do like that. We put out the first album entirely, in its entirety. But this album, we're going to be putting out singles.
Yeah, that's usually the case nowadays.
Yeah, and that's going to start in June.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, there are multiple reasons for that. We were talking about this yesterday on a radio station. They, some of it is feeding the algorithm gods, because you get some built-in promotion every time you put out a single, and if you put out a whole album, you get that same amount of promotion within your digital service provider, Spotify,
Yeah.
whatever.
Well, they intend. I learned this in ACM at the music school here, and it's kind of messed up. So they do that because you guys can't compete with
Right.
bigger artists, and so what they do
For
is
sure.
they make you put out singles, so it stops you from being able to put out entire albums to be able to basically get more viewers or listeners than the major bands. They can do that. They can put out entire albums and not even worry about it. But local bands, they have to play this game where they have to try to get on playlists, and then what they do is they gear the playlist on Spotify, where you can only put on so many singles on a playlist. So if you put out an entire album, you're only allowed to put a certain amount of songs from that album on a playlist. And so if you're trying to get on these playlists, you have to individually put out your songs, because then it's considered its own little album, basically.
Sure, yeah.
And so a lot of people, what they'll do is they'll flood it with all their music, but they'll put out singles of each thing. There's also which I'll probably end up just giving you a jump drive that has all this stuff, but there's a file that has the release schedules, and then there's a guy named Ari that talks about release schedules.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I know
in
that
his
guy.
book,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. in his book, was it How to Win in the Music Business or whatever, like that one tells you like how the cycles work, because there's a 26-day cycle on shows, and then there's a 26-day cycle on album releases and song releases, because it's like you have 26 days to make sure that everything's good up to that point, and then you have that many days to like do all your marketing. Because if you do it too soon, then nobody's gonna care. If you do it too late, right whenever it's about to come out, then it ends up being the same situation. Not many people care, but if they have a certain amount of days to like a certain amount of time frame to marinate on it, and you just constantly putting that in their face, like the song's coming out, and then they see another ad for it, then what happens is they end up listening to it more often. So and there's that little trick that they don't really tell anybody, but yeah, that's why they try to control the music industry through. I mean, other than how much they pay people on Spotify is ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's how they try to do it. They try to control the ability to be able to get it higher, and then they can and what their justifier is that they're slowing it down because there's a lot of bad music out there.
Oh, I think it's 20,000 releases a day.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Really?
Yeah, 22,000 songs are released every day.
Yeah.
And it's because you can put anything out.
Yeah.
But we
especially with
kinda,
AI now, it's ridiculous.
yeah, I think we still use the single thing actually works for us. It's something we can use to our advantage, and because since we don't have a label, we're promoting everything ourselves. So all of our content, the art, the promotional content that Dan does, the art that Mario does, all of our like press releases and write-ups that I do, which by the way, I get a lot of that info from Ari's book. His great tips on like press releases. But that, like all of that stuff, if you release one song at a time, you have a few weeks to build that up for each song.
Yeah.
Versus if you had to do it all for an album yourself, we did it the first time. We got a PR firm to help us a little bit, but all the promo stuff we had to do, and it's so much work. It is, like you're doing a label's worth of work, and you're trying to play support shows, and we never even got around to releasing vinyl for that first one. So I think with this one, we're gonna do the individual songs like Dan was saying, but then we'll release vinyl, probably drop vinyl like maybe 3 or 4 songs in if we can get it pressed in time.
Yeah.
So that way you could get the whole album, and then while we're still, building promotional content for each song. And so I think it'll be cool for fans that really want that album.
Yeah.
And they'll have access to it, and then we can still, so we'll just, as we get the stuff done, we'll get it out. But we want our fans to be able to hear it also. I mean, that's the whole goal. It's like get them music.
Yeah.
And that way they know the songs when they come see the show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, I always thought about that there too. It's like, you release it live, and then you just like each release day, you can play that in a way, because you could do a show and you're like, oh, we're releasing this song on this show, comes a release party, and then you do that again. It's like release parties, because then you could choose different songs and you can just keep it going, where you just release them all, and then it all becomes an album, and then you put that all on a CD, and then you try to sell that on your site or something, to try to do that. Other than that, where can people find you? I know I found your guys' website already, and that's how I found your Spotify and everything, and all your socials. So is that like your guys' main area, and then obviously your typical socials, Instagram, Facebook, all that stuff?
Yeah, we're on all of that, and we're on all the music platforms. So all of our music that's been released is out there. Spotify, iTunes, it's everywhere.
Okay.
Even on YouTube, we have a video out now from one of our songs on the last one, Murder House, and it's out there. It's pretty wild. I highly encourage everyone to check that out. It's got a lot of sci-fi, like old school George Lucas style analog, like spaceships on strings, explosions, a lot of blood, lots of blood, and no AI. It's just
100% set design made by Mario.
Oh yeah,
that's so cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's how to do it, right?
Well, these guys let me dress them up in spacesuits outfit.
Dump fake blood on us at 2 a.m.
Yeah, it's out there. Yeah, Murder House is the name of the song, and it's Moonkill. It's on YouTube. Check it out. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and then what's our Instagram's at Moonkill Band?
Moonkill Band, pretty active there. Like if there's anything happening with us, that's probably the first place you'll see it. And then it just trickles over to Facebook, Threads,
moonkillband.com. Moonkillband.com.
Who's on
that's
Threads?
Like the official stuff. Yeah,
Yeah,
who's
yeah.
on Threads?
Yeah, we're the only Moonkill out there, so you can't go wrong. Just hit us up.
Yeah. But I want to before we end, I want to give a shout out to Chris over here. He's not talking very
Yeah, he
much,
didn't talk very much.
but I do want to describe a little bit about what we did here, because we called in Chris before cause. We had played with a previous band that he was in, Moon Medallion. They toured with us a little bit, and we talked to Chris and how we kind of like got talking about bass is all of our guitarists have swapped out bass, and so I was really stoked to one day have a dedicated rhythm section. So I went up to Chris and I was like, "Hey man, how much do you love Carl Alvarez?" This is after watching him play, which is the Descendants bass player, and he's like, "Oh," and he immediately pulls up his phone and shows me a picture of him playing with him. What? And I was like, all right, and so we started asking him bass questions when we were recording this album, and he had already moved back to Fort Collins, and I said, and he's asking, "Hey, what's going on with the band?" And I said, "We were trying to put this tour together," and he goes, "Hey, I'm for hire, if you need anything." I was like, "Well, I didn't know you were hired gun for tour." Yeah, and he's like, and so I was like, okay. And then when Danny couldn't make it on this tour, we called him and he goes, "Yeah, send me the shit." So we sent him 2 albums worth of stuff. He learned it. He flew in Monday. We did 1 rehearsal and we put him on stage.
One rehearsal.
Tuesday.
Killed it. Nailed it. Killed it too hard. We had to like rein him in a little bit. Like, whoa, that's too good. It's like too many fills.
Play less.
Yeah.
Sounds awesome, but play less.
Too awesome.
You're gonna make our original bassist jealous.
Yeah, no, he's a great bass player. But yeah, I was playing in a different band out of Austin. I was living in Austin briefly, a band called Moon Medallion. Shout out Andre, shout out Brody. But yeah, we had got hooked up with these guys. I always assumed because both of our band names have Moon in it.
I
right?
think that was the
another
promoter.
Austin band with Moon. But yeah, so I had played with those guys, and then we did a couple weekend runs with these guys, some regional touring, and yeah, kept in touch. I ended up moving back to Colorado, but kept in touch with these fools ever since. And like Fred said, they gave me the call, and I was like, hell yeah, let's do it. So here we are.
Yeah, we're doing it.
When we get into his lair there at Fort Collins, we might have to burn his house down. Bring him back down to Austin with us. Will be a 5-piece. I shouldn't have said that on air.
Yeah.
Dude,
But-
you're not supposed to give out the
You're not supposed to give out the plan.
We're gonna make it look like an accident. No one can prove
Give it out
nothing.
the plan like this. All right. Well, I guess we'll wrap this up. As for the Local Earshot podcast, I run on 3 values. That is time, talent, and treasure. If you value the show, then definitely keep on listening with your time. And if you are in a band and you want to be on the show, then you are my talent. Then give me a call or contact me on all the socials, Facebook, Instagram, all those things. And then I can set you guys up for an interview. And if you are willing to donate to the show, then you can reach out on the localearshot.com. I think the site's down right now, though. So there is a link inside a link tree inside the show notes that you can click on, and there's ways to donate. So thank you for listening. All right, and thank you all.
No, thank you.
Thank
you.
Thanks so much.
Thanks, y'all. Peace.
Grand Royale tonight.
Yeah, Grand Royale.